After my Overland camper walk-around video, I had a lot of views and I had a lot of the same questions come into the comments as well as my emails. By far, the most asked question is how much did it cost? Today we're going to go over that and answer some of the other questions people asked, and stick around to the end. There's a surprise. If you didn't watch my walk-around video, I'll put a link in the description and the thing over here, wherever it is. I don't know where those things go, but anyways, I'll put that up there too. I'm gonna go over the process step by step, and we'll talk about what each thing costs. Keep in mind, I built this a few years ago, so a lot of the prices have changed, and some of the things might not even be available. Some of these are gonna be general numbers, but they're pretty close. I've been telling people it cost around $5,000, and while I think that's pretty close, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. A lot of the things, like the plywood, rims and tires, a lot of the trailer wiring things, I had on hand. But I'm going to take it now and break it down item by item, and we'll see what these things really cost. Keep in mind that if you wanted to build your own trailer, you could use less or more expensive items than the ones I used. And there are a lot of things that you could leave off that would reduce the cost as well. And on the flip side, there's no end to the amount of things you could put on it to make it cost more. Okay, so I'm going to look at my computer here and go down the list. The first item on the list is the steel for the frame and fenders. I bought it at a local welding shop, and I had a friend help me bend up the fenders because I don't have a press brake to do it. So we're looking at $580 roughly that I spent on the steel and a little bit of labor for the help bending the fenders. After the frame was welded and the fenders were done, I took it all to my local powder coater. They sandblasted it and put a couple coats. They put like a good primer on it and a UV powder coating over the top that won't crack or deteriorate or fade in the sun. And that was about $300. I bought Timbren axle suspension and hubs. You have to buy them separately. They have a kit that they recommend for off-road trailers. There's actually several of them I found out today looking up the cost. And it seems like it's basically by the weight rating. You know, they have some that are like a 1,200 pound weight rating. I bought the ones that are 3,500. It seems to be fine, but it's honestly overkill. It was $900 for the hubs and the axle system plus shipping and tax to my door. That's about what I paid. I imagine if you bought like the 1,200 pound or the 2,500 pound, they'd be a little less. The next on the list is the Max coupler. This is the 360 degree articulating coupler for off-roading. I found it to be kind of an inconvenience. I guess you had to have the other half of that hitch in the tow vehicle in order to even move the trailer. I don't have it on there now. It's great for off-road, but some of the pickups we have take a bigger receiver. It wouldn't work in there anyways. So I wound up changing it out. The Max coupler is $275. I'll put that in now. But you can buy one, just a 2-inch ball for the back of any hitch, any vehicle, for probably about 20 bucks. The next on the list is the trailer jack. This is what goes on the tongue of the trailer. It's on a wheel so you can push it around. I keep it in my shop. That was $65 off Amazon. Seems to work real well. Okay, so next we have plywood. This would be your plywood for the floor in the trailer, both the sides, both the ends, the shelves, cubbies, all of that stuff, as well as some thinner plywood that I put on the under and overside of the roof joists. And the 2x4s that I used flat to screw between the sides that make up the roof, and that's how you get it to curve. So I have about $425 into lumber. Man, lumber is insane right now. I kind of accounted for some of that in that number. Probably should be all right, but boy, it really does not cease to amaze me what wood costs these days. So here's one that I got asked a lot, is what did I skin the outside of the trailer with? So I used 3 sheets, one for each side and one for the bottom, of a 1/4-inch HDPE plastic. It's $57 a sheet after tax. I bought it at Menards, our local home center, was $171 for those 3 sheets. It works fantastic on the floor, and it is a really good material for the side. It's scratch and impact resistant, easy to wash, waterproof. You have to be a little careful. If you're in Arizona and you're going to leave this thing parked outside in the sun all the time, I would probably put a cover on it. It's been fine on mine, but I have heard that it is not it's not UV stabilized, so you could run the risk of something warping. There's enough stuff bolted to it with the fenders, doors, shovels, axles, spare tires, everything. It's not going to go anywhere. I think if I had to do over again, I might consider using sheet metal on the sides. Something like a Kynar from a roofing supply place, maybe aluminum, something like that that was a little more stable in the sun. But boy, that stuff does scratch and chip. This is black all the way through, so I would have to think about that. Next on the list is the wood that I used for the front and back of the trailer. I also used some of it for the trim at the top where the roof meets the sides. That is a wormy cypress. I guess somebody even in the comments told me I think I was calling it I don't remember what I was calling it, but they called it pecky. I called it wormy. They called it pecky cypress. It's a really neat wood. It's hard to get around here. I got it off a job site, like a cedar tongue and groove from any one of your home stores. A car siding or even more of that plastic sheeting would have worked just fine. I put about $250 is probably what it would have cost you to get something like that. TPO, that's the roofing thermoplastic polyolefin that I use for the top. I own a roofing company, so I have huge rolls of this stuff. Again, I cut some off. I think you could buy it. They make these things to like reskin the roof on your RV. It would be the same stuff. It requires a contact cement, and I use that Eternabond tape to tape around the edges where it meets that wood trim. I put $180 in for this. You could also use an EPDM rubber, which would work real well. The Eternabond tape and the contact cement would both work really good for that. Most cases, that EPDM rubber, it does come in white, but you'll see it 99% of the time, like at a home center, in black. So I thought it would be a little hot inside the camper. It is small and it has an air conditioner. That might be desirable in the winter if it was hot. So kind of a preference thing there, what you like, but I put down $180 for that. I've got in here just fasteners, all of the screws to hold it together, the fasteners to hold the trim to the side, glue, construction adhesive to glue it together, wood glue, caulk, finishes. I used a 2-part epoxy from Total Boat for the cypress on the front and back. I put $300 for all that. Probably that Total Boat finish is the most expensive part of that. Next, I've got lights, wiring, outlets, all the low voltage stuff. There's a small panel inside that's got USB outlets to charge your phone, your laptop, whatever you want. I've got all the wiring harness for the trailer, the backup lights. I've got these off-road rock lights I used inside on the ceiling. I've got $250 on that. I think I put the wrong fan name in my other video. The fan that I have on this camper is a Fantastic fan. I bought that for $125. The headliner inside the camper, it is a topographical rug that I bought. You wouldn't even need it, but I thought it was kind of cool. I paid $125 for the rug, stapled it to the roof. It does provide a little insulation up there, so that was kind of cool. I did buy some insulation. I bought a sheet of pink foam, so I allowed $30 for a sheet of that insulation. Jumping around here a little bit, I installed 4 stabilizer jacks underneath the camper. This would be a place where you could save some money and probably leave these off. If your camper stays connected to the vehicle, you definitely don't need them. One person inside a camper rolling around can't tell if it's shaking or not. It's always the other person. I paid $130 for these stabilizer jacks. So like I said, I had these rims and tires on hand. These came off of a Jeep Rubicon that I had bought. Put a lift kit and bigger tires, so I had them from before. I did have to buy wheel spacers or adapters to make them work, but I liked the idea that if I got a flat on the Jeep or on the trailer, ran out of tires, they could be swapped back and forth. I put $1,100 for rims and tires, assuming most people don't have a set laying around. Inside, I have on the plywood floor a condensation mat I bought. Again, not sure if you need it or not. I have a mattress in there, and I have a 3-inch, like a foam topper, again, that I just bought at the local home center. I allowed $300 for all of that. You could quite easily just throw a 3-inch twin mattress in there for about $80 and get it done a lot cheaper if you wanted. Let's see, I bought a roof rack with a basket off Amazon. Paid about $230 for the two of them. If you watch my video, I got a screaming deal on that basket for like, I don't know, $6 or something like that, but I paid about $190 for the roof rack, so I just put in $230 ought to get it done. Solar system, that's the flexible Renogy solar panel with the charge controller. There's some cables. There's a port where the cables go into the roof of the camper so you can seal it up. Also a deep cycle marine battery. You want to be sure you get that as a minimum. There's plenty of lithium ion, all kinds of options that are really expensive. You could use Jackery, one of those kind of units, but I just bought a deep cycle marine battery for like a boat or a dump trailer. I put $425 for the solar system. That's about the cheapest you can get it done if you buy dependable stuff. It works really well. This last time we went to Kentucky, that thing sat for a month. I thought, I don't even know if I turn that on, the battery will be dead. I got in all the lights, cell phone charger, fan, everything worked just fine because that solar power in the woods with the panel covered in snow was still working enough to keep that battery charged. Next item on the list, and this is an expensive one. This is definitely something I probably wouldn't bother with. When we first went to Kentucky, we had no cell phone service. Now we get it from the Wi-Fi that my truck broadcasts. It works really well. Everybody can call home, watch Netflix on the iPad in the truck, whatever you want to do. I bought this WeBoost cell phone booster thinking that would be the solution. I honestly, and we haven't tested it out that much, a bit. I can't tell a bit of difference. The phones still don't work just with that cell phone booster. And that was $500. So that's an expensive item. I probably wouldn't buy it again. Next, I have an ARB awning on the camper. That's really nice. Give you a little shade, little protection from the rain, place to take your shoes on and off. I also mounted a WeatherGuard toolbox to the tongue of the trailer. This one is all aluminum. It's a little pricey at $682. What? You could get a plastic one much cheaper, but I really like WeatherGuard products. I keep firewood in here and some gear. It also serves as a junction box or housing for the junction box to the trailer lights. Here's another really expensive one. I put a door on both sides. Probably only need one on one side. I would probably do the passenger side. That's what most campers and RVs have. I put one on both sides as well as an access door in the back for the storage. That was $992 for those from Challenger Door. They are really nice doors. They have locks on them. They have screens with slide windows that came with gas struts on the back one to hold it open. You could do a lot with some gaskets and the plywood cutouts if you are careful from cutting the door out. There's a lot of marine and boat hinges. $1,000, I bet you could do something with the plywood cutouts again and those marine hinges and locks. Probably for $200 it gets you a lot of stuff. So something to think about there if you are on a budget. I'm kind of assuming everyone is. That's why you build a camper on your own. But I guess in my case, it wasn't the budget nearly as much as just the fun and getting exactly what I wanted. So I didn't mind spending the money. That may be the case for you. If it is, the doors are really nice. It's the way to go. The last thing that I bought was a Climate Right heater. I bought the smallest one they have. Works really well. It does heat and air conditioning as well. You do have to buy an installation kit. All in, that's about $600 for that Climate Right heater. Okay, so here it is, $9,095. That's a far cry from the 5,000 that I estimated to begin with. However, I do have prices in here for quite a few things that I had on hand, and I think if you were careful about your budget, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think you could do it for $5,000. I'm sure there's things that I've forgotten, but you kind of have to make it up as you go and do what's right for you. So hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope it shed some light, answered some of the questions I keep getting asked. I did promise you there would be a surprise at the end. I am selling this camper. That's right. I have used it several times. I love it. It's been great, but it's time for another project. So I've got some ideas in mind of the next one I want to build. I'm thinking about building something kind of modular that will slide in the back of a pickup or go onto a trailer, so we could take it however we want. The biggest thing I've been struggling with is when we want to go off-roading or to Kentucky or anything, I often have a trailer that pulls a side-by-side or four-wheelers. And obviously if you're pulling a camper, you can't do that. So I want something that goes either in the back of a pickup or on the front of a trailer that you can put a side-by-side behind it. So something that I'm definitely looking at here for the future. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, share the video with your friends. I'll leave my email in the description. If the camper is something that you would be interested in, email me. I'll fill you in on pricing and all that stuff. Depending on where you're at, we can talk about getting it out to you or having you come out here and pick it up. But thanks for watching.